Well, welcome to Special Times with Pierre Filosa and my guest, Mike Robinson from the Department of Developmental Services.
Hi, Pete. Thanks for having me on your show today.
You're welcome.
So I've been your service coordinator for quite a long time now. It's been about 15 years, right?
Yeah.
I've been a service coordinator for about 19 years, Peter, and worked with the Department of Developmental Services for that time. But before being a service coordinator, I was working for an agency. Well, you're familiar with LifeWorks.
Yeah.
And I was looking, but I wasn't working residentially for them. I was working for their vocational program, doing some job coaching. So that's kind of that's where I made my start. That was a long time ago. That was back in 1999. I took the job right out of college.
Yep.
And then we started working together in about 2004, 2005, I think.
Yep.
Right. You know, I didn't think I was going to get into this field when I was in high school and college. I was going to try to go into law enforcement, but when I graduated, I needed a little bit of the test for the police officer test was in the springtime, and I graduated in January, so I needed to find a job, in the meantime. And when I found the job at LifeWorks, I just kind of really got into it. I stayed in the field from there on and kind of changed career courses.
How long have you worked at DDS?
I got the job at DDS in the fall of 2002. So this year will be my 19th year with the state.
How did you get into this field?
Well, like I was saying, I was looking, I just kind of was looking for a job when I graduated college, and I was kind of waiting to take the police entrance exam, and I applied to LifeWorks. I applied to like some, human service type jobs, to work with, work in the community. Basically, I figured that would be a good start. If I wanted to go into law enforcement, at least I'd be working with people. And I got the job at LifeWorks, and just kind of really enjoyed the work and working with individuals and getting to know them, and it was very rewarding.
Tell us what a service coordinator does.
Okay, so I work for the state for for the state of Massachusetts, and what a service coordinator does is each service coordinator has a caseload of about 60 individuals or so, and they coordinate the services that the state is basically paying for. That's my primary job. So residential programs, day programs, anything that the state funds for individuals on my caseload, I have to kind of help coordinate, and we develop the ISP meeting, which you and I have had plenty, right? And at the ISP meeting, these agencies that DDS funds has to provide goals and objectives to work on. And then throughout the year, we kind of monitor how each individual is doing with their goals and how they're progressing on, on reaching them. And then that's kind of like the basic job. Then other things can kind of come up too. Just if there's any issues with the services, if there's a problem with the agencies, I can kind of be a go-between.
Do you think this year my meeting will be in person, or what do you think?
That's a good question, Pete. So the pandemic has changed a lot with how service coordinators are doing their jobs. As you know, like last year, we had your meeting virtually, like we're doing this with this interview. And as of now, the meeting would still be virtual. We haven't had any kind of new regulations come up to us about our job responsibilities in terms of seeing people, individuals face to face. But it is the thought that at some point things might start to, the restrictions might start to lessen and we might be able to see people in person. But I'm not sure about your actual ISP meeting. There's probably a much better chance of me being able to visit you at the residence and me being able to see all the people that I work with just for quick visits. But having a meeting with all the people in one room, it might take a little while before that actually happens. The pandemic has changed a lot, with just how we do our job, and it changed a lot with your life as well, right?
It's changed my life. Like, I have to wait now till August to go back to my, sometime in August to go back to my day program. So,
right, yeah. So when the pandemic started in March of 2020, all the day programs kind of shut down temporarily, like yours, right?
yep.
So all individuals had to go home, and my office shut down as well. So my job became virtual, just like how I know the agency you're involved with will do some Zoom activities, right?
Yeah.
And so that so DDS and these agencies that we work with kind of changed changed how they operated, providing services. They went from in person to Zoom activities, right?
Yeah.
And my job changed too. I mean, we started talking on the phone, doing FaceTime because I couldn't come to visit you, and I haven't spent a lot of time physically in my office for well over a year. I can go in maybe once a week if I needed to use a printer or or go through files, because all my files are at the office. So if I need to look something up, I can go in and take a look at it. But a lot has changed.
What do you like best about your job?
What I like best of my job is sort of things like this, and having one-to-one interactions with the people that are on my caseload. Unfortunately, with my job, there's a lot of paperwork and like red tape to go through, where I don't get to develop a relationship like like I'd like to. When I had my first job at LifeWorks, I would see the individuals I worked with every single day. Every morning they would come in and I would be able to talk with them and chat with them and get to know them. And so I was able to develop a relationship with them pretty quickly when you see someone every day. But when I moved to working for the state, for DDS, I don't see the individuals on my caseload every day. It's more of a special occasion. So it takes a while to develop, a relationship. But that's kind of what I enjoy the most. So like you and I being able to talk regularly, and I get to, you get to know me, I get to know you. That's what I find the most rewarding about the job. And that's what makes actually my position a little bit easier. The better I know the individuals on my caseload, the better I can think of what might be best for services that might be helpful. So that's what I like the most.
What types of residential placements and day programs are there for DDS clients?
So residentially, Peter, there's 3 different type of models for residential services. One's the 24/7 group home, and then there's shared living model, which an individual lives with a family or a single person, and that caretaker provides the 24/7 services with agency oversight. And then there's another model, which is called individual support hours, where an individual might live in his own apartment and receive a certain amount of hours each week. in areas where they might need assistance, as maybe grocery shopping or cooking or or working on a budget. So those are the three main models, but within each there are little there's some creativity with each of them. There's different types of group homes. Some are for individuals who are quite high functioning, and others are for individuals who need total care, who are in a wheelchair, who need to be fed and taken care of and need this complete assistance. There's a wide range. So like you and I in the past have talked about what's available in the community as far as group home openings, and we've talked about how it's not always, if there's an opening, might not be the best place for Peter Filosa or for another individual. It might be a home with 3 individuals in wheelchairs who need total assistance, and for a capable guy like you, you'd want to live with some peers who you could have some interactions with.
I hope someday to be in a individual supports type of system with in a living place.
Right, and that's part of my job is kind of hearing the wishes of the individuals on my caseload and the kind of their hopes and their aspirations, and trying to work towards those goals. So you have, Peter, you have certain goals that you want to reach, and at your ISP meeting and working with your agency and your family, we can kind of develop goals for you to get to that point, for things for you to work on to reach that,
Are there enough services for all the clients with disabilities?
Well, I mean, Massachusetts has a very good service system as far as what we can provide compared to other states. There always probably could be more, I think. There are certain, there's such a DDS serves such a wide range of individuals that some services, are needed for, say, individuals who are autistic and maybe who are quite capable, who can have a job and drive their car and have their own apartment, but needs certain other kind of assistance. There's always need for developing services for the wide spectrum of people in our population.
How has the pandemic affected DDS services?
Well, one of the things so when the pandemic hit in March of 2020, all the day programs closed, and that was temporary. Some of them did open up again in the summer, limited, but when they closed, all the individuals went home to their group homes. So we had to try to think of, a lot of agencies in DDS providing assistance had to think of ways to provide services at home. And what they found was many of the individuals who would have maybe behavioral problems or have issues at their day programs went home to the group homes and their behaviors calmed down. So it made a lot of agencies think that possibly going to a day program might not be the best avenue for the person they served. So it changed a lot as far as how we are providing services. How a lot of these agencies provided Zoom activities throughout the week, and some individuals really love that, and it really works for them. So it made us change the way we look at how our services are given. Will
services in the future change?
Possibly, Peter. This pandemic was it came out of left field in a way, as far as for DDS. We kind of, everything changed with how our services were provided. And even now that we try that there might be a light at the end of the tunnel, we're still trying to kind of get back to a normal way of seeing services for individuals. I mean, our programs right now, they're not operating at 100% capacity. You know, a lot of the programs like yours, Peter, only have a certain amount of individuals who are back, because you know there's still certain rules and regulations as far as social distancing and how many people you can have in a certain building. So you know, it's a lot has changed, and I'm not sure how it's going to look in the next, you know, it's going to be interesting in the next year, like a year from now, if the programs are going to be back at full capacity. You know, also we have to worry about transportation and getting individuals to their programs and back, you know, because before we would have big 15-person passenger vans, you know, and that would be able to get people back and forth to the programs. But right now we can't have 15 people in the same van. It's just not possible. So we got to figure out transportation. We need more vans to go to these programs.
So come August, when they do allow me to come back to my day program, how will you guys help me figure out like how I'm gonna get to Somerville every day?
That's what we got to figure out. We got to figure out how to get you there and get you there, you know, safely. And, you know, maybe by August, maybe the van routes will be a little bit different. We can have more individuals in the vans, you know, I mean, things are getting better right now. And maybe, you know, you were using a service in the past, which was at times unreliable, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a difficult, I mean, you know, a lot of individuals that I work with and that, you know, Peter, use the MBTA ride, and that can be sometimes, you know, some issues can occur from that. Other people, it's very reliable, and for others, it's not. It's hit or miss, you know. So, but that's, you know, that's one of the things that a service coordinator has to kind of deal with, though. You know, I mean, I have an individual like, you know, Pete, you, that wants to go back to the program. I got to work with the agency to figure out a way to get you there and get you there safely. That's just kind of another job that service coordinators have to kind of work with.
I want to thank you, Mike, for being on my show.
Thank you, Peter, for having me. I enjoyed this, and I'm sure we'll talk later this week.